Welcome and thank you for joining us today. Today's webinar will focus on helping underserved students get ready for their next career through mentoring, which is so critical, especially in areas where they might not be able to have access to this kind of thing. So IAOP has been partnering with the Global Mentorship Initiative, and I sit on the advisory board, so pleased to do that as well. It's an amazing organization. Please, John is here to talk to you about what it is and how you can get involved and how you can make an impact. Please become part of the GMI. I appreciate that. Thanks. It's over to you, John.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Debbie. And I want to just thank everybody who has joined the call today. And I'm glad to tell you more about how to mentor an underserved college student, answer any questions you have, and just to tell you some wonderful opportunities. So just wanted to briefly introduce myself. And this is a short webinar, so this won't take us very long. I'm John Browning, and I lead the Global Mentorship Initiative. I'm a former Microsoft director and had a chance to work early on with the Rockefeller Foundation on their Digital Jobs Africa initiative. And that's how eventually GMI got started. So we'll tell you a little bit more of that. I also chair the IAOP CSR committee, and we do the Global Impact Sourcing Awards with IAOP every year using a judging panel for that. So I just want to thank Debbie and IAOP because they've been such strong supporters for the Global Mentorship Initiative and impact sourcing in general. And we thank them for making this opportunity available. So today I'd like to tell you a little bit more about how GMI got started, about the program itself, and I'm glad to answer any questions that you have. You can submit your questions via chat, or we can open up the audio if it's possible at the end of this discussion for questions. So I like it when somebody gives you a bottom line summary at the very beginning. Here's what you need to know. So GMI provides business professionals like you with an opportunity to mentor a disadvantaged college student. We do this through 14 one-hour sessions with a student. That's usually done through Zoom or any other type of video conferencing system. Students in this program learn skills specifically related to getting their first career job and then how to be successful in that job. It's important to note that as a mentor, we don't expect you to know all of this. You don't need to be an expert. We give you everything you need to be a great mentor to a student. We have students around the world in this program with 11 different colleges. And I want to be sure to tell you a little bit more about our more recent partnership with Southern New Hampshire University that allows us to mentor students who are living in refugee camps. And if this is something that is of interest to you, you can go to the website there listed, globalmentorship.org, and you can apply to be a mentor right there. It's a very quick process, and we'd be so happy to match you with the student. Or if you have further questions, you can contact me anytime at john.browning@globalmentorship.org, or you can ping me on LinkedIn, whatever works for you. So stick around for the next 20 minutes or so, and I'll fill in all the details and share really some incredible opportunities with you about how this program is changing lives. So GMI got started out of the Rockefeller Foundation's Digital Jobs Africa initiative. And this was originally designed to create good career jobs for less privileged students, young people, in 6 African nations, and then it eventually expanded worldwide. In many of these areas, especially in sub-Saharan Africa, the youth unemployment rate is over 50%. Kids go to college trying to make a better life for their families and themselves, but when they graduate, the jobs just aren't there for them. And so the Rockefeller Initiative created the impact sourcing strategy to hire these underserved workers basically around the world. And I'm so glad that IAOP plays a significant role in promoting this type of socially responsible practice through the committee, through the awards, and just everything that Debbie and the team do. So I remember when the idea for GMI got started, when it was born, We were working with job recruiters in South Africa, and they told me that there are jobs available for many graduating students in Africa, but sometimes these students, especially in underserved communities, there's a soft skills gap in their readiness for these jobs. This is because many of them haven't had the same opportunity as other college students. For example, having a computer with internet access where they live. And I'm not talking about the specific job skills like accounting or software development. They have those skills. This is about the specific soft skills needed to be successful in the workplace and actually acquire a job. So as a result, while we were creating jobs in these areas, they weren't always going to the young people that we wanted most to benefit from them. So we launched Global Mentorship Initiative to help fill this gap. So GMI is a nonprofit organization. We work with students in their final year, and we match them with business professionals like yourself to prepare them for their job search. As I mentioned, we do this in 14 one-hour sessions once a week with a mentor. We partner with 11 universities in the US and around the world where these students, they're nominated by their teachers for the program. We want them to be enthusiastic, and we want to ensure that they are committed to the program before we take them on. And our mission is to focus on underserved students for this program because that's where we think we can have the greatest impact. Underserved means something different in every country. For example, in the United States, we work with students who are first-generation college attendees or that require financial aid to even be able to attend college. Underserved means something different in developing countries. So our colleges are located, as I said, we have 8 US colleges. We're in the University of West Indies in Kingston, Jamaica. We're working with a technological college in Sri Lanka and in Johannesburg, South Africa. We have a great college there. We will begin working in Senegal early next year with students at one of the largest universities, and then 4 additional countries that I'll talk about now. So recently, we've been given this incredible opportunity. We have a partnership with Southern New Hampshire University, and they've asked us to provide mentorship to students who are refugees, who are actually living in the refugee camps. And these are in Kenya, Malawi, Rwanda, and Lebanon. You know, the refugee crisis doesn't always get the headlines these days, but there are millions of people who've had to flee their homeland just to be safe. And each of these camps has a population of anywhere between 40,000 and 180,000 refugees. For example, the one in Kenya we work with is the largest refugee camp in the world. These students attend school online through Southern New Hampshire University. They get an accredited degree, and they're getting an education that really could make a huge difference for their families and for their future outcome as well. So one of the camps we're working with is the Kakuma refugee camp in Kenya, and that's spelled Kakuma. It's about 450 miles away from Nairobi. It's a short plane flight. And I really encourage, if you're listening today, to look up that site. That's why I spelled it out, Kakuma. Look it up and you can see the pictures and the environment. And these are where our students are and where they're working to really try to create a better future for themselves. And so now we have an opportunity for many of these students to get jobs, either in the camps themselves or in the towns that are around these camps. And they leverage their degrees that they've earned, and they leverage the mentorship and the job search skills that they learn through GMI. It's really a unique opportunity for us as mentors. And it's a different kind of mentorship, but it's an opportunity to make a very special difference for somebody and their family in a very difficult situation. So some of the topics of the mentorship include, for example, creating a professional business network using LinkedIn and how to leverage that network for job opportunities. LinkedIn is so important if you're looking for a job, and we teach advanced tips that really work, not just for students, but for anybody in the job market. In another session, we encourage students to take control of their career plan and set measurable goals. We tell students that if they want to be successful in their careers, they must treat their career path like they would a business does for its strategy. For example, establishing SMART goals and holding yourself accountable to them. Well, we also show students how to create a resume or a CV for many of our students outside the US that actually gets noticed by recruiters, and we give them templates and guides for conducting the job search. But getting selected for the job interview is really just the start. It's so important for anybody interviewing to be ready for the tough questions. And so we give the students a method to answer difficult questions in a way that hopefully distinguishes them from other candidates. We use the Soar Method that we teach our students. Very simple to learn, easy to master, and it really distinguishes you from other job candidates. And this whole section about interviewing is basically to make them more confident, make them feel more prepared. And that's where self-confidence really plays a role in being successful in landing a job. Because when you're prepared, you're more relaxed and you're more likely to succeed. So towards the end of the mentorship, we spend some time with students to prepare them to be successful for when they actually get their first job. So about 2/3 of the program is on how to find a job, how to be found by job recruiters, how to nail the interview process. And then the last third is this section about how really to make a good first impression on the job. So mentors lead their students in a discussion about the characteristics of employees that seem more promotable than the rest of us. What it is that they're doing that we're not. So it's all the things that I wish I had learned when I was just starting out at Microsoft. And of course, before I had learned all my bad workplace habits now. So we want these students to learn good habits before they have an opportunity to learn the bad ones. And you know, this is an interesting time to be providing mentorship, and it's very interesting to be graduating as a student right now because we're in such a rough patch with the economy. And frankly, it's a terrible time to be entering the job market. But there are some tips that we give our students that can help them in their job search. There are things that you can do to distinguish yourself from other candidates. And this actually helps us lead to more job interviews for our students. For example, you know, there are great companies that our students have never heard of. So we try to make it easy for these companies to find you and recruit you. You can do this by building a strong LinkedIn profile. We tell our students that 94% of recruiters actually use LinkedIn to find or to review job candidates before they hire them. And we tell them to connect with as many people as possible. We give them a template to send personalized messages to candidates that they want to connect with. Because when you add a short invite to your connection message, it significantly increases your acceptance rate, especially from people that don't know you. So we make that very easy. We give them templates for that. And we tell them to set a goal during the mentorship to connect with at least 500 business people that they don't know. We make that easy for them in a number of ways. And you know, for our students, you know, I often hear some of them say at the very beginning of the mentorship that they've already applied, you know, at 5 or 10 different companies, and they've sent in their resumes and they never hear back from any of them. And then when our mentors actually review their resumes, it's usually the issue is that they don't have the right keywords for the specific jobs that they're applying for. For example, most of our students are surprised to hear that human eyes don't actually read their resumes anymore, especially on the first pass. Most companies use an ATS, it's an applicant tracking system, and they scan resumes to look for keywords that are specific to that job description. And it's only after you've got a good match are you put in front of a real person for a review of their resume. So we tell students they should have a different resume for each job that they are applying for, and it should include the specific keywords that are in their job description, in that specific job description. And we show students exactly how to pick out keywords in a job description to make this an easy process. The same goes for skills listed in your LinkedIn profile. You have to have the skills listed that specific job requires. Otherwise, you won't be found by recruiters when they're doing their job searches on candidate searches on LinkedIn. So as I mentioned earlier, we don't expect our mentors to know all of this stuff. We ask that you guide your student through the 14 sessions. There's a specific PDF document for each one. It's not overly complex. We try to make it as easy on the mentor as possible, but we are giving the student a good workout. These are life skills that they're learning. And what we ask is for you to guide the student through the program. And then maybe most importantly, to add your real world experiences. You know, for example, what was the worst job interview experience you've ever had? Or what's it like to have 3 different bosses and 2 different reorgs in a year? And how do you adapt to a changing climate like that? For our international students, you know, a lot of them want to know what it's like to work in the US, because some of them eventually will want to work for international companies. And so you can provide that perspective as well. So this is just a partial list of companies who provide mentors to GMI today. And we would be so glad to add your company to this list. So I also want to just mention how GMI is funded. I mentioned that we're a nonprofit 501c3 company. There's no cost at all for the colleges, for the students, or for the mentors to be part of the program. GMI relies on corporate sponsorship and individual donors. And so that's, we try to make it as easy as possible for everybody involved in the actual mentorship. But it's great because we run a very lean operation, and it's only about $250 per mentorship anywhere in the world to fully fund, fully burdened mentorship for the GMI program. So we have students in the queue now in the United States and around the world. We just started with the Refugee program. We have over 50 students now in that program already matched with mentors. We'll have another 300 refugee students this coming year. And overall, we expect about 1,000 mentorships in 2021, spread all over the world. Our program in Sri Lanka will probably have close to 200 or 300 students in it. And we're always adding colleges because we've had a lot of demand from mentors to keep adding students. So just a reminder, this is not a forever commitment for mentors. It's 14 one-hour sessions once a week, usually by video conference. And we make it easy. We provide everything you need to guide your student. Just follow the mentor guide and add your own personal experiences. So you can learn more about the program, like I said, at globalmentorship.org. Or you can contact me directly at the address shown here, and we'd love to have you mentor a student. So I'm glad to take any questions. If there's any chat questions, or if you can open the audio up, I'm glad to do that.
Don, can they get the slide deck on the website? Or something similar if they wanted to go through and...
Yes, the slide deck is on the website over the various pages. So if you just look at the 3 or 4 pages, it's all there. I'm glad to send anybody, we routinely send out this slide deck to mentor candidates so that they can look at the full details of the program. And there's a few other slides in this. So I'm glad to send anybody that if they're interested.
And of course, this recording will be made available and housed on our website as well as yours. Right?
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. We've got one. Would be great to have this full deck sent to all attendees.
Debbie, I'm happy to make this available if you want to send this to everybody. This deck and about 3 or 4 other slides to give a little more detail about the program and what it is each week. I'm glad to do that. Just so you know, we try to make this as easy as possible on the mentors. There's no expectation that you'll stay in communication with your mentor after the program, but you're welcome with your student, I should say, after the program. But you're welcome to do it. A lot of our mentorships have turned into lifelong friendships, and so that's completely at your discretion. There's no expectations that you'll provide job recommendations or anything like that. You're just giving them the tools so that they can find the jobs themselves. And I'd also add, as far as trying to make this as efficient as possible, because we do a lot of mentorships, we strive for consistency in the student experience. And so that's why we have, that's why our mentorship is not free form. It's very much a planned program. We send the students regular emails during their mentorship to give them extra tips. We provide copies of that to the mentors. But we also provide our mentors with communication templates for their students. And so we give you a template that you can send an email to your student in between each session, because most mentors are saying the exact same thing to their students in between sessions. You know, we had a great session last week. We covered X, Y, and Z, and next week we're going to study this. So please have this and this ready. So hopefully that, you know, saves a few minutes out of your day so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel.
We have a question, John. What career fields or areas of employment are students in? And does that pay into the mentor matching process?
Yes, so great question. Our students are from all kinds of different majors, and they're focused on different industries. There's quite a few who are in technical degrees, but I would say most of our students are in business, general business type degrees. And we generally do not match students and mentors based on industry or degree. And we have other criteria, but the reason we don't do it by industry or degree is because we're not focusing on the hard skills related to specific jobs. We're focusing specifically on skills to help you land a job, which transcend across different degrees and for the most part across different business cultures internationally. So that's why we don't match by degree. We do ask a couple of questions about your communication preference, and we ask the student the same, so that we're, you know, ultimately we don't want to match an extremely extroverted mentor with an extremely introverted student. So we try to bring those closer together with our unscientific approach to matching. We always match female to female and male to male as well.
Any other questions from our audience? You've done such a good job, John. They don't remember.
Well, I'm glad to provide this presentation to everybody. Debbie, I'll send it to you and your team, and you can distribute it. And any follow-up questions, don't hesitate, everyone, to just ping me and let me know.
Okay, wonderful. It's a really great opportunity and a great way to help build, you know, talent for the future. So I hope you'll all join. Thanks, John.
That's great. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Debbie.